Am I the a-hole for refusing to help my sister with childcare after her son bullied mine? I, 28 female, have a 4-year-old son, Max, with my husband, Tom, 29 male. Max was born with cerebral palsy and requires certain accommodations. His main two are crutches for walking and his AAC device. An AAC is an iPad/tablet-like device that lets him tap pictures or icons to communicate. Just because he can't physically form words doesn't mean he doesn't have meaningful thoughts. He communicates just like any other 4-year-old and loves talking about typical kid stuff. My sister, 30 female, has 2 kids, James, 10 male, and Lucy, 6 female. Jane is a single parent and works longer hours than Tom and I. To help her out, James and Lucy take the bus to our house every day. We feed them dinner, ensure they do their homework, and take care of them until Jane picks them up between 7 to 8 p.m. On Wednesday night, the kids were playing as usual when we noticed James start mimicking the way Max walks and talks. He exaggeratedly walked with a limp and made strange sounds, clearly imitating Max. Tom immediately told him to stop. However, James kept doing it, and Lucy laughed along. Max became visibly upset. Tom called them both out of the family room and scolded them firmly but without yelling. James got very quiet and sat at the table until Jane arrived to pick them up. The next day, Thursday, James did it again. When I asked him why, he said, "My mom told me it's okay." I was furious. I told him to sit at a table for the rest of the evening. When Jane came to pick them up, Tom and I took her aside to talk. She said she didn't see what the big deal was and claimed James was just joking. I told her ableism is never funny and that if her child couldn't behave appropriately, he wouldn't be welcome anymore. Jane responded by saying I was being overprotective and that Max would have to learn to deal with people being mean to him because it's inevitable. I told her my 4-year-old deserved to feel safe in his own home and I wouldn't tolerate this behavior. Jane got upset, took her kids, and left. The next morning, I called the school and told them not to send James and Lucy to my house on a bus anymore. The school has an after-school program that runs until 7 p.m., but it costs money. When Jane came to my house that evening to pick up the kids, I informed her they were at the school program. She panicked and rushed to get them. This morning, I woke up to a barrage of angry texts from Jane, accusing me of being cruel and unreasonable. She was especially upset when I reminded her she'd now have to pay for childcare. When Jane realized the financial impact, she shifted her tone and tried apologizing, claiming she'd talk to James about his behavior. I told her it was too late. The damage was done, and her kids were no longer welcome at my house. Jane argued that she couldn't afford the childcare costs and might have to find another job. I told her that wasn't my problem. Now she's even angrier, and I'm questioning whether I handled the situation correctly. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister and nephew both faced the natural consequences of their actions. You have a duty to protect your child. On the first night, you corrected the behavior with the children. Then your sister undermined your authority in your own home. She has become too comfortable with you essentially co-parenting her children and feels entitled to co-parent your child. She doesn't feel bad that your son was hurt by her son's actions. Instead, she's encouraging her son to act out because she disagrees with your parenting style. When you addressed the issue, she refused to acknowledge her responsibility. You told her to seek alternative childcare. Yes, the time frame was short, but child care programs can terminate care just as quickly in cases of misbehavior or other issues. She isn't remorseful for hurting her nephew. She's only upset that her actions had consequences. Exactly. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Imagine thinking that it's okay to mock the disabled son of the person who is co-parenting your children and saving you thousands of dollars a year without taking a cent. The shocked Pikachu face when they stop helping you. Shaking my head. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. You're 100% right. Ensuring Max feels safe in his own home is the priority. Your sister has no genuine remorse for her actions or her children's. She only changed her tune when she realized it was going to cost her money. Family should be a safe place, and she has proven she doesn't deserve to be a part of Max's life. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to contribute money to my mom's family Christmas gift after finding out it's going to my brother? I, 25 female, have 2 siblings. My older brother Alex, 28 male, and my younger sister Lily, 19 female. My mom recently came up with an idea for a family Christmas gift that we would all chip in for. She told us it was something that would benefit everyone, but wouldn't reveal what it was. She just said she needed $500 from each of us by the end of the month. Now, $500 is a lot of money for me. I just started a new job, and I'm still trying to save up after struggling financially for a while. I told my mom I needed more details before I could commit, but she kept brushing me off, saying it was a surprise. A few days ago, I found out the truth. Lily let it slip that the family gift is actually a down payment on a new car for Alex. Apparently, his car broke down recently and he needs a replacement. My mom thought it would be a good idea for all of us to pitch in and get him something nice for Christmas. I was furious. Alex is 28, has a stable job, and makes way more money than I do. On top of that, my mom never asked any of us if we were okay with this. She just assumed we'd all go along with it. When I confronted her, she said it's only fair since Alex does a lot for the family and deserves it. I told her I wasn't contributing and that it was ridiculous to call this a family gift when it's only for Alex. She got upset and said I was being selfish and ungrateful. Alex chimed in saying I could afford it if I really cared and accused me of being jealous of him. Even Lily sided with them, saying it's not a big deal and that I'm ruining Christmas by making it an issue. Now my whole family is mad at me. They're calling me cheap and saying I'm being petty over something that's supposed to be a nice gesture. I feel bad for causing tension, but I also feel like I'm being taken advantage of. Not the a-hole. Your mom's bringing a $500 family gift on you without being upfront is really shady, especially since it's just for Alex's car. It's not your job to fund your own brother's problems, especially when he's better off financially than you. You have every right to say no since it's your money, and $500 is no joke. Them guilt-tripping you and calling you selfish isn't fair. You're not ruining Christmas. They're the ones making it so one-sided. Stand your ground. The fact that Alex piled on with such a condescending comment makes it clear this isn't a gift but a demand. He should be ashamed. Alex is not ashamed. He's the only son, no doubt the golden child. He's entitled beyond measure because that's how he was raised. I bet if Opie thought back to her childhood, she'd see plenty of times when Alex was favored. Mom knows Alex is better off financially than Opie. Yet, she still made this sneaky, underhanded, and unfair demand. That's why she was so evasive when questioned. If I were Opie, I'd seriously consider going no contact at this point. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad and his wife I won't take responsibility for my disabled stepsister's care in the future? My parents are divorced, and I, 17 male, mostly live with my mom. 5 years ago, my dad got married to Rebecca, and Rebecca and her daughter, Yasmin, moved in with my dad. Yasmin is 7 now and severely disabled. She can't talk or do things for herself. I don't know much about her condition overall because I never spent much time with Rebecca or Yasmin. However, I've learned some things over the past few years. I know Rebecca has a fund set aside for Yasmin's future care, and my dad has been paying into it. He's invested more into her future than he ever did into mine, which is a sore point for me, but I understand she needs it more. Yasmin's dad doesn't do anything for her, so my dad took on the role of ensuring she'd be cared for. The issue is that my dad and Rebecca are worried about what will happen to Yasmin when they die. If something happened to them tomorrow, the money is there for her care. But Yasmin's father doesn't care about her, and there's no other family to step in. This came up the other day when my dad asked me to spend the day with him. I agreed, and he invited me to his house for dinner. However, dinner didn't happen because they sat me down to ask if I would look after Yasmin and be a big brother to her when they're gone. They wanted me to take responsibility for her care, whether that meant overseeing her needs in a care home or even taking care of her myself if necessary. They told me Yasmin is my sister now, and even though we're not related by blood, she is family and needs me. I said no. I told them I wouldn't take responsibility for her. My dad told me I needed to do it for him and said he doesn't ask for much. I admit I snapped and told him he never gives me much, which he said was unfair and that I shouldn't punish Yasmin for it. He said I needed to step up and be a bigger man. Rebecca asked how I could be around her, sweet girl, and not want to protect her. I told them I've hardly been around Yasmin, don't feel a family bond or loyalty toward her, and they couldn't bully me into it. I left because they only got angrier. My dad has since called my mom's phone looking for me a couple of times. My mom told him he had no right to speak to me the way he did, and that I don't owe him the peace of mind of caring for his stepchild after he's gone. She really stood up for me. Now, my dad and Rebecca are saying I'm a heartless monster for saying no. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Yay for your mom. Tell your dad and stepmom that you will never be your stepsister's caretaker, and they can stop trying to bully you into it. In order to build a sense of family, a parent actually has to be involved in their kid's life. Your dad didn't bother, and your stepmom didn't either. Now they're wondering why you feel no sense of obligation or connection. Not the a-hole. Do you even need to ask? Your dad and stepmom are horrible for asking this of you in the first place, let alone trying to force you into agreeing. You're 17, still a minor. Even after you turn 18, your life is just starting. Taking responsibility for a disabled person is a huge commitment, and it's unfair for them to expect you to promise something like that. Your dad and stepmom are being selfish. They should be making plans for Yasmin's care in a good institution for after they're gone. I think that's the plan, but they want me to take charge and make sure everything's good. If it's not, they want me to step in and fix it. I really don't want that job. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my brother's girlfriend stay in my guest room after she made a scene at dinner? So I, 30 female, live in a nice 2-bedroom apartment in the city. One of my bedrooms is a guest room, and my family often uses it when they come to visit. I'm close with my brother Alex, 27 male, and he recently started dating a woman, Jenna, 26 female. This weekend, Alex asked if he and Jenna could stay with me while they visited the city. I said yes, of course, because I wanted to meet her and Alex has always been respectful of my home. Things started off fine, but at dinner on the first night, Jenna made things awkward. We were eating at a nice Italian restaurant, and while we were waiting for our food, Jenna started talking about how people who rent instead of owning homes are financially irresponsible. I laughed it off at first, thinking it was a joke, but she doubled down, saying it was basically throwing money away every month. I calmly told her that I rent because I value the flexibility it gives me, especially since my job might require me to relocate in the next few years. She then said, well, maybe if you stopped spending so much money on eating out, you'd be able to afford a down payment. Alex looked mortified and told her to drop it, but she wouldn't. She went on to say that people like me are part of the reason the economy is so messed up, because we don't prioritize home ownership. I snapped back and told her she was being rude and condescending, and that my financial choices were none of her business. The rest of the dinner was tense, and when we got back to my apartment, I told Alex privately that I didn't feel comfortable having Jenna stay in my home anymore. He tried to apologize on her behalf, but I stood firm. I told him he was welcome to stay, but Jenna had to find another place. Jenna overheard and got upset, accusing me of being overly sensitive and dramatic. She said she didn't mean anything by her comments, and that I was taking things too personally. Alex ended up leaving with her, and now he's upset with me, saying I overreacted and put him in an awkward position. I feel bad for making Alex choose, but at the same time, I feel like Jenna disrespected me in my own home and doubled down when called out. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If she didn't mean anything she said, she wouldn't have said it in the first place. She actually doubled down and blamed people like OP for the economic situation. Part of me thinks Jenna was feeling insecure or something. The way she attacked Opie was not normal. The audacity of the girl. She probably doesn't have a pot to piss in and has the nerve to lecture you on your finances. Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I think Jenna was envious of Opie's home and wanted to make Opie feel bad. Some people hate to see other people having nice things. Last story. Am I the a-hole for canceling everyone's Christmas because my mom called the cops on my husband? Usually, my husband, 30 male, and I, 27 female, host Christmas Eve at our house. It's nothing big, just my divorced parents and my 3 teenage siblings. This year, we have a newborn and skipped Thanksgiving, but I've felt comfortable hosting Christmas. Until my mom called the cops on my husband a few weeks back. One of my sisters, 19 female, called me, crying, asking me to pick up our younger sister, 17 female, because she had just gotten into a fight with my mom, and my mom slapped her. Our newborn baby was sleeping, and we wanted to get this 17-year-old ASAP. So I stayed behind while my husband went to get both my sisters. My mom and my 17-year-old sister were at the laundromat. The altercation happened at home. When my husband walked up to their car and told my sister, "Let's go," my mom freaked out, caused a scene, and started yanking on the car door, telling him to let my sister out or she'd call the cops. At this point, my husband had locked the door and kept telling my mom he wasn't letting her out, that she needed space, and that he was bringing her back to our place. My mom walked away and told him to drive off. She could send the cops to my house if she wanted. I was on the phone with him. She called the cops and it backfired. The cops sided with us and agreed that the 17-year-old should have been removed from the situation and should stay with me for a few days. This enraged my mom. For some odd reason, she hates that my sisters and I are close. She has been telling them for years to keep secrets from me and not tell me what happens in her house, though they still do. She has called family meetings with my siblings just to say they need to stop running to me to vent. She says whatever happens in her house is none of my business. She treats me like I am some random outsider and not her literal daughter, and I'm tired of it. She tends to sweep everything under the rug. She never talks about issues and just continues as if she didn't hurt anyone's feelings. She also has a tendency to pull the, "well, sorry, I am such a bad mom" card or deflect and gaslight. A lot. After she called the cops and my husband with the intention of getting him in trouble, I am not letting her just sweep this under the rug and show up for Christmas like we are one big happy family. If she cannot come to us like an adult, apologize and have a mature conversation, she is not welcome in my home. So Christmas Eve is canceled. I'm also not going to raise my daughter around people who make her parents feel like crap. I'm not allowing her to see that people who are supposed to love you can treat you however they want just because they're family. Now, backstory on my mother. I have never considered us to be close. She put me through a lot as a child, and my teen years living with her sucked. She has serious narcissistic tendencies and seriously needs therapy, but I don't even trust her to be honest with a therapist. She's the type to make everyone else the bad guy and make herself look good. There are years and years of incidents with her, but this year I've really had it. However, I've put up with her because of my siblings. So anyways, am I the a-hole for canceling everyone's Christmas? Not the a-hole for uninviting your mom, but I think you should still host Christmas for the rest of the family, as it seems like your sisters and dad didn't do anything wrong. Plus, hosting Christmas while uninviting your mom would send a much stronger message. Or maybe I'm just a petty a-hole for suggesting this. Lol. The thing is, she's the type to not let my siblings come, or she'll make their lives hell for the next week or two. My siblings would be walking on eggshells until she decided she was over it. We're thinking of inviting the kids and my dad over for breakfast and gifts on Christmas Day instead of Christmas Eve, all night. I mean, you already found a great way to deal with her. Every time she throws a tantrum, you can pick your sisters up, or they can go to your place to chill. What's your mom going to do? Call the cops? Lol, fair about picking them up. It's just dropping them back off and putting them in a situation that's full of tension. I don't love the idea of that.